Welcome back on an exciting video. So today is lesson 1 and we are going to talk about programming with C++. We'll start with an overview of C++ programming language. So today being the first lesson, we'll start with introduction to C++. Learn how we use C++. Learn the difference between C and C++. Learn the object-oriented concepts of C++, as we know that C doesn't have any object-oriented concept, but the C++ does. And learn on standard library components like the IOStream. Also, understand the C++ program development process flow and differences between process and trends. Explore C++ program in code blocks. So, C++ programming language. It was created by Bojan Stroustrup in the 1979, formerly called C with classes. C was coined by Rex McCarthy in the 1983, commercially released in 1985, and C evolved from C. Yes, C was evolved from C. So there was C programming language before we had C++, because with the C++ it has object-oriented programs. And in mid-1998, the ANSI and ISO C++ language standard were approved. Yes, it was approved in the 1998, the ANSI and the ISO. Why use C++? It is used in every computing system. Efficient, close to the machine language, which is system program language. C++ has object-oriented program. Yes, C++ has object-oriented program, and C++ was evolved from C, but the C was not having object-oriented program. C++ is a compiled language, universally usable model programs, portable programs for various platforms. So you talk about the object-oriented program in the C++. Identify concepts called objects. Specify relevant data and possible operations to be performed on that data. Each object consists of data and operations on that data, and one object combines data and operation on the data into a single unit. So a programming language that implements OOD is called an object-oriented program, OOP language. And learn how to represent data in computer memory, how to manipulate data, and how to implement operations. Write algorithm and implement them in a programming language. So learn how to combine data and operations. So you learn how to combine data and operations on the data into a single unit called an object. And C++ was designed to implement OOD. And OOD is what? Used with structured design. The OOD is used with structured design. And data abstractions, that is the creation of classes to describe objects. Data encapsulation for control access to object data. And inheritance by creating derived classes including multiple derived classes. Yes, including multiple derived classes. And these are the object-oriented programs. Polymorphism, which is a Greek for multiform. That is the implementation of instructions, and that can have varying effects during program execution. So this is an illustration or a practical example of programming with C++, whereby the hashtag, you bring hashtag include, the IO stream is input output stream using namespace std, whereby the std means std has to come with the C out, but you putting the std outside the int main means when you see out anything, there is no need for you to bring the std double colon, then see out, then you bring what you want to see out. So the std being outside the namespace std being outside the int main, you can write your C out without bringing the std semi 2 double colon. Yes. And the processing a C++ program. To execute a program within a high-level language such as the C++, use an editor to create a source program in C++. In a C++ program, statement that begins with the symbol hashtag is called what? A preprocessor. So hashtag include is what? Hashtag is a preprocessor. It's a preprocessor directive, and these statements are processed by the program called a preprocessor, used to comply to check that the program obeys the rules and to translate it into machine language. Yes. We have software development kit SDK, which may be used to create a program. Yes, it may be used to create a program. And you start with first you need to get a preprocessor. Then you get your code. So yeah, we use the linker. We start with the linker. It combines object program with other programs provided by the SDK to create executable codes. And the loader, which loads executable program into main memory. The last step is to execute the program. Yes. So this is the step in C++ program. You get a C program, you editor, which is step 1. Then a preprocessor, which is step 2. A compiler, step 3. And linker. So when you link after linking, you load it. And after loading, you execute the code. Complying and linking. Run code through compiler. If compiler generates error, look at the code and remove errors. Run code again through compiler. If there are no syntax error, compiler generates equivalent machine code. Linker links machine code with system resources. So with the linker, it links machine code with the system. So when you write your code, the linker links the code with system resources. It links your machine code. It links your code, the code you have write, the code you wrote. with a system resource. For you to get what? From the linker, you go to a loader, whereby with a loader, once complied and linked, loader can replace program with main memory for execution. The final step is to execute, and compile guarantees that the program follows the rules of the language. Does not guarantee that the program will not run correctly. Then process. Process is a program loaded into memory along with all the resources needed by the program, and each running instance of a program is a process, and each process run independently. So you move to the trends. Trend is what? A unit of execution within a process. So with a trend, it's a unit of execution, or let's say place of execution within the process, whereby the process is what? A program loaded into memory. And multiple trends can be what? Initiated from a single process. And there are single trended processes and multiple trended processes. So this is how a trend look like. So trend 1, trend 2, trend 3. And this is the time. Then the process. And trend is a unit of execution within the process. So the square is the process, and the trend is what? Is a unit of execution within that process. Trend and process in programming. A program starts out as a text file of programming code. The code is compiled or interpreted into binary form. So after writing your code, the code is compiled or interpreted into binary code, because the computer doesn't understand the code you have written. So it complied. There's a compiler that compile or interpret your code into binary form for the computer to understand. Yes, it changes it from a source code to a machine language, which the computer understand. And the program is loaded into the memory after complying or after interpreting the source code or the code. The program is loaded into the memory, and the program becomes one or more running process, and the processes are typically independent of one another. And trends exist as a subset of a process. Trends can communicate with each other more easy than process, because a trend is a subset of a process, whereby the trend is it's a unit of execution within a process. So this brings us to the end of our lesson for today. We will continue with lesson 2. So do well to subscribe to this channel, share for other people to watch, and also like this video. Thank you. We'll meet again. Bye bye.